Today, we are going to be looking at 4 strategies for effective fly management. If you have animals of any kind on your farm, you're probably dealing with flies, which is why strategy number 1 is effective fly management comes down to effective manure management. Part of that process is just taking that manure from the pens and stalls or whatever, cleaning it out, and then removing it from any living spaces. That's an effective step in and of itself, but the pro tip is to then compost that manure so that you're taking a waste product and you're turning it into something beneficial for your farm. A quick note on compost: there are fast, intermediate, and slow methods of composting manure, and we would recommend doing the intermediate to fast method, and that's because you really want the heat that's inside of the compost to kill all the larvae and the flies that are inside that and keeping them from breeding. So you're essentially heating up and nuking their breeding ground. A simple way that we put this into practice this year was after the winter time, there was a bunch of spent hay and manure in the winter paddocks, and we just took a tractor and we scraped all that material, put it out near our garden, and keep it into a pretty good pile, try not to get above 6 feet tall, and then we just turn that once a week for 4 weeks, and then we just let it sit for the rest of summer, maybe turning it once or twice so that we incorporate all that material in. Strategy number 2 is to fight nature with nature, and the best way that we have seen to be able to do this is to take chickens and to release them into areas of high manure. Chickens do a couple of things as they're scraping through the manure. One is they're spreading it out, which makes it drier and harder to be a breeding ground for flies, but they'll also scrape through it and pick through it and eat the larvae and the baby flies, the maggots, and take care of them that way as well. Unfortunately, our chicken coop is too far away from where we keep the rest of our animals, and my wife's been getting on me to eventually move it over there, but that's a big project. To be honest, it's not real high on the priority list, but eventually we'll get around to doing that because we know it's such an effective way. We've seen it on other farms in practice, and it works really, really well. Strategy number 3, consider fly predators. Fly predators are tiny insects that are native to North America. These little bugs feed on the fly larvae in the pupa or cocoon stage, which serves as a natural form of population control. This prevents the larvae from developing into breeding and biting adult flies. This is our first year trying out fly predators from Spalding Labs. And the way it works is that you sign up, you enter in how many animals you have, and then they'll send you successive packets of fly predators, which allows you to then distribute them near the sites where you have animals, and they will prey on the larvae in the manure pile. One plus is that it isn't very expensive, and this is our first year doing it, so the verdict's still out, but we have seen a reduction in flies, so I think that one might be working pretty well. So far, the first 3 strategies have dealt with flies before they are born, which effectively cuts their population off at the knees. But what if you have a bunch of adult flies running around? Strategy number 4 is to use fly traps. There are various types that are available, like sticky traps or jar traps, and what you do is you strategically place them around your farm, especially in areas with high fly activity. By the way, if you have flies inside of your house, we have found by far the most effective way to get them is a sticky trap that you place on the window itself, because flies are always bouncing off the windows. They'll bounce along, get stuck on that, and unfortunately meet their demise. I meant fortunately. So the 5th strategy, yeah, I know I said 4 earlier, but the 5th one is to tie all of these things together. Each of them on their own is pretty decent, but together they really make an effective fly management strategy. If you have tried some of these things, or you have some better ideas or additional strategies, leave them down in the comments and I'll check those out. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one.